It's a little bit of Ukrainian music. That's from an album called The Legend of Rusalka, and that's an album that the Rusalka dance troupe put out with the Winnipeg Symphony Orchestra back in 2006. That piece is called The Lyrical Dance. Well, tomorrow night there's a big concert happening with the Winnipeg Symphony Orchestra and the Rusalka dancers as well. They're going to be performing together, celebrating 125 years of Ukrainians in Canada and 50 years of the dance troupe being together. And I've got in the studio with me a couple guests. First of all, I've got Simeon Rusnak. Simeon Rusnak, you may know him as the host here on Classic 107 for the show called Morning Blend on Saturday mornings. But he's a busy man. He wears many hats. He also dances with Rusalka, the Ukrainian group, and he's also their spokesperson. He's a recent grad of the Marcel Deshotel Faculty of Music at the U of M. And he's been with Classic 107 for a number of months, so he's one of my guests. I've also got the resident conductor, Julian Pellicano of the Winnipeg Symphony Orchestra. He's been with the orchestra now for 2 years, going on his third year, 2015-2016. So happy to have them both in the studio. Good morning to you both.
Good morning, Michael. How are you?
Good morning.
I'm doing great. Julian, this is your first time here, so welcome to Classic 107. Pleasure to have you here.
Thank you. Yeah.
Nice to have you. And Simon, well, welcome back to the studio. But you're on the other side this time.
An exciting time.
You're on the other, and I'm going to make it tough on you this morning. No, Simon, let's start with you. First of all, before we start talking about the show, why don't you just tell us about Rusalka, about the dance troupe? It's been around for a long time. Tell us about the history and sort of when it all began.
Well, we're just coming off of our 50th anniversary celebrations, and it's been a very exciting year, a year and a half for Rusalka with lots going on. We also did a collaboration called Razum. It was actually the second Razum with groups from Saskatchewan and Alberta. And the group as a whole, we're made up, we're amateur dancers. We're not professionals in that we're being paid, but, we're all united by this love of our heritage, and it's just a fantastic way to keep up an integral part of the Ukrainian culture.
So when did you join? How long have you been with them for?
I joined in 2008, so I'm going on 7 years now with the group, and it's been an absolute blast, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm. So what do you find the most fun thing about it? Is it the group of people? Is it the dancing? Is it...
It's really the community and the community that's built within Rusalka. I mean, there are countless families formed within the group. It's a long tradition now, and it's really the family component that the group is that makes it so exciting for us as dancers to be a part of.
Mm-hmm. Okay, Julian, let me ask you a question. This is your first time conducting Ukrainian music. You've conducted so many different shows, and with the WSO, you do a lot of the pops concerts. So you're used to variety, that's for sure.
Right.
So how does Ukrainian music feel to you in terms of conducting? It's being the first time conducting.
Well, this music is very unique. It's very powerful. It's very energetic. But I've always had the kind of love of folk music and different kinds of music from all over the world, and I see. And I hear in the music a lot of similarities with other kinds of folk music. That's so. In one hand, it's new to me, but on the other hand, I feel like I have a little bit of experience. I have the feeling of the music in my ear already. So, in this sense, that even though it's my first time with Ukrainian music, specifically the rhythm and the beat and the feeling and the harmony, I feel like. I already feel like I know something about it, even though actually I don't really know anything about it. This is my first time. But anyway, when you listen to the music and when you play the music and when you just, you hear the music, you feel that it just goes with dance. It should be danced to, and that's how lively and energetic it is. It's built into the music, so I'm really looking forward to hearing it with the dancers on stage. It's going to be really an incredible experience.
Are there any specific challenges with conducting, having a dance troupe there as well, as opposed to just the orchestra? Do you have to sort of keep an ear out, keep an eye out for what they're doing as well?
Oh, yeah, of course. Anytime you're working with dancers and an orchestra or dancers and anybody, you have to be aware of the fact that they need to dance to the music. Mm-hmm. So it needs to sometimes needs to sound a specific way or be at a particular tempo. And as you may know already, or many people in Winnipeg will probably know, a lot of Ukrainian music or Ukrainian dance music, and some of the things that we're going to be doing tomorrow night are fast and then they get faster. So that's kind of one of the challenges.
That's true. I guess one of the pieces I played was probably one of the slower
that's
ones.
one of the slower ones. But they tend to be some of them tend to be on the fast side, which is the spirit of the dancing. And so I can't say it's a challenge. I mean, we have a virtuosic orchestra here; they can do anything. But it's fast.
There's going to be a lot of sweating on stage. Dancers, musicians, conductors.
Yeah. There may be some sweating beyond the stage in the pit with the orchestra in the pit. We'll see. But I think the orchestra, the WSO musicians are pretty cool. They'll be able to keep their cool, and they can play pretty fast, I think.
What about conversely, Simon, for the dancers? I mean, getting to play with a full orchestra, and Rusalka has done some stuff with the WSO before. How is it with the whole orchestra? And the instrumentation, I guess, is somewhat different as well, right?
Well, how exciting for us is the main thing. I mean, to perform with a live orchestra, it's unlike, performing with a recorded track, which is really what we're used to. There's obviously a couple hurdles. There's things changing. It's not like there's a resident cymbale player, Ukrainian folk instrument players within the WSO. So there's some things that are going to be a little different to the ear. But on the whole, I mean, you just get this excitement coming from live music that's right there in front of you. It's just going to be such a fantastic experience for all of us.
Now, was it last year? Earlier this year, you had a performance with a small group and some of the WSO musicians. Was it in Brandon? And there was a little interesting incident that happened there. You want us to tell us about having dancers on the same stage as musicians? Won't be that this time.
That was a few years back. We were kind of doing, the WSO does their outreach out to Brandon, out to Winkler, performing in different venues. And I think we were out in Winkler. There was a small group of us. And we were performing out in Winkler on a stage that wasn't meant to be danced on, with an orchestra on the stage as well. And one of the dancers happened to kick over the first violinist's music stand. And it didn't go over so well. But on the whole, it was a great experience. We were doing a little bit of Tchaikovsky, the Hopak from Tchaikovsky, and it was definitely an interesting experience. And,
so Gwen didn't come after you with the violin bow or anything like that?
No, it was something else. It was just an interesting experience for all of us, I think.
So it's great. I mean, getting to perform with the WSO. And you mentioned the instruments too. I mean, tell us a bit more about the instruments that might be involved in. Well,
I mean, for all of us, even in that track, we hear accordion, we hear cymbale, which is featured in one of our other pieces. They're just instruments that we're not. Lots of us, I'm talking generally, aren't used to hearing. But for those of us who are Ukrainian, they're really ingrained in the sound and in the culture. So it's just a great way for all of us to experience the culture. Lots of, for younger people who are second, third generation dancers, they're further removed from the language or even from the music, but they experience that through dance, because it's one way that we can all experience the culture. So it's a great thing. But in terms of instruments, there's lots of fun stuff that kicks around. So
that's tomorrow night. It's a one-time show, if I'm correct. It's called From the Steppes to the Prairies, celebrating 125 years of Ukrainians in Canada and 50 years of the Rusalka dance troupe. It's the Winnipeg Symphony Orchestra, Julian Pellicano conducting, and the Rusalka dance troupe together. This time the orchestra is in the pit, though, so there's no dangers of knocking over any instruments there, I don't think. Unless, you never know. Could be fun. Sounds like there's lots of fast dancing and a lot of fun. And I imagine it's going to be pretty packed in there. It's a strong Ukrainian community here in Winnipeg out there to support it. And all the other people who know Rusalka, I mean, I've seen them too and known about them for a long time. And you don't have to be Ukrainian to enjoy that kind of music or that dancing. So have fun tomorrow night. I guess you guys are going to be rehearsing tonight and getting ready for the show. So look forward to that. You can get your tickets at WSO.ca. You have more information on their website as well. That's tomorrow night. Julian, thanks for coming in this morning. Would love to have you in again some other time.
Oh, thank you very much. It's my pleasure to come anytime.
Yeah, maybe next year or for the next 2015-2016 season, we'll try to have you by.
Absolutely.
Simon, hey, you're welcome to come by on Saturday morning if you want.
Always a pleasure.
Yeah, in your regular slot. I've been chatting with Simeon Rusnak from Classic 107 and Rusalka, and Julian Pellicano, the conductor in residence with the Winnipeg Symphony Orchestra. Again, show is called From the Steppes to the Prairies, celebrating 125 years of Ukrainians in Canada. Tomorrow evening, get your tickets, WSO.ca. Let's have another little taste of music. This is from the same CD called The Legend of Rusalka. I'm going to play you if I can pronounce it correctly, I'll play it for you anyway. It is called the Polician Dance with Sticks. I'm getting a nodding head there from Simon, so I did pretty well. Here is music from the WSO from Legend of Rusalka.